And go. Looks like today we're talking about batteries. Just so happens, I have lightning in a box. This is not a paid advertisement. I just have to jump my bike off. Figured you guys might want to see how I do it. I did a video on jump starting my motorcycle with a car, you know, off, all that stuff. I'll put a card up over there. But this thing's cool too. I just usually leave it at work and didn't have it that day. I really wish I could find my sunglasses right now, but I can't, so this is what we got. All right, little box. It's actually you know what, we'll talk about the box in a minute. Plug this guy in. That's pretty loud, so I had to walk away from the bike. But you want to make sure that you leave the bike running for a little bit. You know, you're gonna have to re-jump it off if you shut it down immediately and try to restart it. Today, we're talking about this box or other ones like it and batteries. So let's go to the shop. My name is John Maxwell and I'm a highly trained unprofessional right here at Chattahoochee Harley-Davidson. And I really wish I had my sunglasses today, but I don't, so I'll just stand here and squint in the parking lot and tell you about how today we're talking about batteries. We're gonna change my battery, we're gonna check a couple things, battery terminal resistance, stuff like that. I'll show you the ticket that prints out when you have your battery checked. We're talking warranty on our batteries. We're talking why Harley batteries versus aftermarket batteries. And I'm really curious to try lithium ion batteries, but we don't have them in stock here. Another company makes them, not us, a couple companies. But if you guys have any experience with that, let me know down in the comments. Let's get inside and do some work. So the main reason why I'm even making this video is so that you guys understand that Harley batteries do have a 1-year warranty, but there's a process to it. See, it's gotta be tested on the big machine. So let me pull this battery out and I'll tell you what the battery tester is. Advanced AutoZone and stuff has one too, but that one isn't gonna get you through warranty if your battery's under warranty. Batteries fall under the factory 2-year or the parts and accessories 1 year. All batteries, no matter the manufacturer, have a day code on them. This one is D, 4th month of the year 2016. It's not under warranty anymore. Which really the warranty is from 1 year after the sale date. So ideally you're not buying batteries that are like super old, been sitting on the shelf forever, although they do sit on a battery tender in storage. So let's hook this thing up. This battery has 12.5 volts in it, but I'm not thinking the voltage is the problem. What a lot of people don't know is that there's also cold cranking amps with batteries. So what I think is happening is my cold cranking amps is probably low, and that's not a problem. So this machine is going to check it and make sure. All I got to do is put in some information. Part number for a Sportster battery. Part number that I have selected. Looks like I have a lot of time to check everything else on the bike while that's charging and testing and all that. Sometimes it can take up to like 3 hours to get the whole thing done, so if you got battery trouble, you might not be able to wait on it, or you might not actually want to wait on it, which kind of depends, but now you know it's not always a quick process. My battery positive cable is a little gross. sandpaper. That's what I need. Clean up this positive cable, the contact point where it touches the battery terminal. Clean that up a little bit. It'll help me out. Alright, so now it's all nice and shiny like this, where before it looked more like that. Actually, it was even grosser than that, but whatever. I work on other people's bikes, not my own. Let's check that negative cable too. It still looks good. I do want to check resistance through both of those battery cables too. Make sure they're not all broken up or corroded. I mean, this bike's 10 years old, so could be. So to check resistance on your cables, obviously this is your positive. It hooks to your battery right here on a Sportster, in this area on a Sportster, but you know, it's battery positive. You should be able to find that. Right down there is your battery positive. Check resistance on that wire. You're looking for less than half an ohm really. And for negative cable right there, and to the engine case right there. And I'm all good, so now I'll just do some other stuff on the bike. Alright, the battery beeped at me, so it's done. Print this tag out, see what's up. Now this is the part that warranty needs. If this was warranty. It's not actually warranty, but you know, I'll print it and show it to you so you know what's up. The tag you get when you bring your battery to a Harley dealer for having it checked. It's, I don't know what the advanced AutoZone one looks like. We get a lot of them and they usually just have a sticker on that says good or bad. So let's check out the battery specs first. Cold crank amps, 225 at 0 degrees Fahrenheit. I do need to replace the battery, yay. Piece of crap battery. It is 12.24 volts when tested. 156 cold crank amps, so that's my reason why I won't start up. It just doesn't have enough power. Charge for 10 minutes at 0.4 amp hours. And then it has a little state of health. So sometimes the battery will test good, but it'll tell you it's not 100% good. So depending on what you have going on, what's coming up, you may just want to go and replace it. Without a jump box, I could have been, I don't know, 100 miles away from home grabbing dinner or something and just been stuck there because it wouldn't start. That would suck. Jump box costs less than a single tow, so it's worth having one if you have a place to keep it. Pretty small, so I mean, I wouldn't ride around with it in my vest pocket, but I could. It'd be kind of weird. Alright, now when you put this negative battery cable on the battery, on a Sportster specifically, might even be the only model that's like this. If you tighten this thing down, the terminal is sticking off to the side. When you actually put the battery in its like final resting location, I don't know if you guys can see it, it's going to push that terminal. See what that nut does? It loosens up. Loose battery terminals, or loose battery bolts, will totally melt a battery terminal and ruin it. So when I tighten this guy down nice and tight, I'm going to make sure this guy is pointing exactly straight down so it can't loosen up. Then I'm going to put all this jazz in level of importance closest to the terminal. To the starter, that's my most important battery cable. Main fuse is my next most important. And then this battery tender, which I already had the lead hanging off my bike from when I bought it years ago. Today I just had to buy the actual wall plug-in portion. So they do sell them separate. That way if you have two bikes, one wall mount will probably suffice for you. I'll make sure all this stuff is facing straight down as much as possible too, and tighten it up. They've also in the past couple of years updated the clips on Sportsters quite a few times over. They have definitely gotten better than they used to be. This is not even the newest update. I think they've updated them every year for the last 4 years or something crazy. But they work a lot better than what was originally on this bike. Since I'm here, I might as well check tire pressure. All right, let's go ride. So that's it, guys. Battery's good now, fires right up. Rig up my trailer to run the battery tender in there and we'll be good to go. I think I mentioned we were gonna talk about Harley batteries versus aftermarket. So I finished this whole video, got it all nice and edited out, and realized I left a bunch of stuff out. So let's talk about that jump box and some of the stuff that clearly I'd forgotten about. The lightning pack, and well, basically what it comes with is the box, of course, jumper cable plug-in, which you've already seen. Comes with a carrying case, which is nice because you have a wall charger to charge the box up, mind you, a car charger or cigarette lighter. You know, some bikes have cigarette lighter on there too, and this connection point, USB to you know, some phones, Lightning for Apple, and 30 pin for Apple also. Now this is supposed to hold a charge for up to 6 months, which is awesome. It's not something you constantly have to, you know, check on and make sure it's charged, but your phone dies or something, it already comes with the cable you need to keep it plugged. It is a 5-volt 2-amp output, so you can even charge your tablet. You know, that's plenty of power. They do have different sizes. I like the smaller one. It's powerful enough for a motorcycle, powerful enough for most cars, without taking up too much real estate in my toolbox is how I use it. Now we get the lightning pack through Western Power Sports, through the dealership, and there are other less expensive options. There are more expensive options in this particular brand, but I actually had a concern with my first version. It never jumped anything off, and after 2 or 3 bikes, I had parts guys call Western Power Sports and ask them what the deal was with that, and the rep hand delivered a new one to me. So I'm always going to pitch any company that stands behind their product, like the distributor Western Power Sports and the Lightning Pack. That was a solid deal. So I just wanted to let you guys know that when you're potentially shopping for one of these, that's a good product and the company stands behind it. I also want to point out that I killed my battery. I'm talking about aftermarket versus Harley, and this battery only lasted about 1.5 years, but that's on me. That's why I bought a battery tender junior today. I'm finally practicing what I preach, and I'm going to keep that joker plugged in because I'm tired of buying batteries. Also, the reason why we checked the resistance through the battery cables is because that bad starter relay, things like that, is why a bike wouldn't start after it's been sitting. A lot of my content, what I know to talk about and show you guys, is based on what I see in Facebook groups. When someone says my bike won't start, what could the problem be? I see it all the time that people are like, oh, you need to replace the stator. Well, that's not what stators do. We'll talk about charging system in another video. I just want to make sure everyone understands that a bike doesn't die while sitting because of the charging system. So that's why I didn't bring up stators and regulators and stuff in depth in this video. I think this video is probably plenty long enough without all that. So back to the regularly scheduled video.
Mentioned we were going to talk about Harley batteries versus aftermarket. I run a lot of Harley stuff because, well, it's right there at the shop, where even on my off day like today I can work. But the thing about it too is, I mean, 1-year warranty on products is pretty strong. I found with batteries, just like Duracell or Energizer regular AA batteries, yeah, you can get them cheaper, but they don't last as long. So if I'm gonna pay, you know, $75 for a aftermarket battery or $150 for a Harley battery, if my Harley battery lasts twice as long, you know, to me, I don't want to be down twice as often or needing to replace a battery twice as often, all that kind of junk. So I roll with the Harley stuff. Let me know what you run down below. Talk more about when I come across an aftermarket battery. We'll talk more about one reason I don't like how the terminals work on them either. The cables never seem to touch the terminal very well. Alright guys, I guess it's about time that I go home. I've been playing at the shop on my off day. Probably be nice of me if I went on to the house and hung out with the family a little bit. So if you like this video, give it a big old dirty thumbs up. If you want to see more stuff like this, then you know, hit that subscribe button. That's how we do here on YouTube. If you want to see more, you gotta subscribe. Hit that bell notification. I'll let you know if when I upload on Wednesdays. Sometimes I upload some bonus videos too. So we'll see y'all next time.